Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. I'm so happy that you all have joined me tonight. For those of you who are starting to tune in tonight for day 7 of 31 Days of Power with Tiffany. Again, please share. If you are watching this message, please share. If you are actually watching the replay, please hit hashtag replay. Tonight is actually a little different from my normal Lady of Power book. I like to be obedient to God. When God shifts me from something that I said I was going to do, that means I have to listen. I was sitting here today looking at my book, getting ready, for tonight. And as I started reading, I felt like this is not what he wants me to share. It's just like it just wasn't setting with my spirit. And so I sat in quiet for a minute and I reflected on, okay, well, what do you want me to share tonight, God? What is it? And so I was reminded of a conversation I had with someone today about a part of my workshop that I did a couple of weeks back, talking about gaining power over your plate. And so for a moment I sat there and I typed, gaining power over your plate. But it wasn't, and as I started to write, excuse me, y'all. Excuse me. As I started to write, it wasn't gain power over your plate. And so a long time ago, I had this topic, and it was called Confessions of an Emotional Eater. And I never really touched on it. I think I had bought the URL, and I was going to do this series. But you know how sometimes when you're not ready to be naked and unashamed, you're not ready to be transparent? That was me. I'm like, I don't know if I want to go there. Even when I was first starting to type this, I was like, well, I'm not an emotional eater, but I'm in recovery. So it's almost like someone who's an alcoholic or a drug addict, and they dip in their being and say, hey, my name is so-and-so and I'm an alcoholic. Or hey, my name is Tiffany and I'm an emotional eater. Real talk. But I thank God for the journey and the things that he has done to help me be stronger. And so I'm going to read some. So I sat down because I actually typed out a little bit of info about being an emotional eater and my journey and what I did to overcome. So get ready. When you experience situations in life that are emotionally taxing, for some people, food becomes their source of comfort. Here's my story, or a part of my journey. I remember when I was in high school, I was in the 10th grade. And due to I'm just going to read what happened. I said, I lost most of my hair. I didn't feel beautiful. I was already larger than most girls in my circle, and boys definitely weren't trying to holler at me. My self-esteem was already low because of being a bigger girl. So losing my hair took me to a whole new level of sadness. I remember the day that the beautician, that I went to the hair salon because I already knew I had to get some of my hair cut. And so the haircut that I actually wanted, the beautician was unable to give me. So I sat down in her chair and she began to cut pretty much all of my hair due to a bad transition between a jerry curl and a perm. If you all back in the days, I had a jerry curl back in my high school days. And I remember, wanting to get a perm, as you go to high school, you want to be cool. And so I went through about a good 7, 8, 9 months where I wore braids to transition out. But even after that, because my hair was so fragile after that, getting the perm was not necessarily the best thing for me at that time. But hey, we're in high school, we want to make it happen, right? And so over the course of some weeks, my hair began to really fall out. And so I remember that day when, she couldn't even put a roller on sections of my hair because my hair was just gone. And I sat in that chair and let her actually have to cut off all my hair. I cried that day with my mother at that salon. My mom and my aunt were the only ones who truly knew the pain that I felt. I still went to school and smiled like everything was all good. This guy knew, do whatever. But on the inside, I was crushed beyond measure. The pain I suppressed in food became my comfort for the pain that I experienced. As I continued into adulthood, I masked the pain in things like hair, shoes, clothes, jewelry, but I still struggled to love myself. Food was how I coped for many years to come. And with that came the weight. Emotional eating, if not dealt with, will lead to additional weight gain and consumption of high-calorie foods that contain a lot of sugar, full of fat, and of course, salt. So here's another piece of my story. In June of 2005, I made a decision that I wanted a change. I ended a relationship with someone that emotionally damaged me, and I knew that I had to do something different. So it was time for me to start fresh, finally leave home, and really grow up. So I decided to move to Georgia. For the first year, I lived with my cousin Sherette, and she helped me to get acclimated to my new home, but I still felt lonely. I missed my parents, my brother, my friends, and my old school where I worked. I was truly starting from scratch. No friends really here at all. That loneliness resulted in me turning to food as my comfort. I began to indulge in some of Georgia's restaurants and foods that weren't in New York. Lemon pepper wings with blue cheese dressing became a great friend of mine, along with Checkers burgers, fish sandwiches, and banana milkshakes. Before I knew it, I had picked up 30 pounds, and along with that, a second pill for high blood pressure. So if you know you're an emotional eater, or after hearing my story, can identify this may be you, please know that there is hope. You can overcome. I'm a living example of that. I had to learn what my triggers were. I had to learn that, matter of fact, I learned I had triggers first and foremost. So let's see if any of these apply to you. Here's some of the ones that I discovered about myself along my journey. Self-esteem issues was a trigger for me. Not feeling pretty. I struggled with loving myself. So I would kind of like retreat and just get me some food and just chill and just eat and watch TV. And it became mindless eating. Work stress. I remember I would order lemon pepper wings for lunch, and then based on whatever was happening after how I felt, I would order them again for dinner. And then sometimes late nights I would go another stroll to another restaurant and get something else to eat. I remember there's a restaurant, the Caribbean restaurant, Golden Crust. Golden Crust, they knew me, who I was, through the drive-through, y'all, because that's how often I frequented that place, to the point that when I placed the order, the guy already knew me. You know what I'm saying? That's how deep this was. Health issues was a trigger for me. Being discouraged about my health, being on meds. Even though I'm on meds, I'm still like, I'm depressed to the point that, or I'm upset to the point that, okay, I'm just going to eat. I'm just going to just do me. Money issues was a trigger. Family conflicts was a trigger. So food helped me to suppress the pain, and in some cases, soothe my pain. But over time, this behavior will result in me continuously picking up weight. It wasn't until I started working with a trainer named Lisa that I discovered I was an emotional eater. So I had gone through all these years and never was put on the spot. I will never forget that day. I arrived at my session and I was sharing about the rough day that I had and how, I'm following my meal plan. Y'all know this sounds familiar. You follow your plan that you have an action in motion for you to successfully lose the weight and start a healthier lifestyle. But something throws you off that day, and now you don't eat stuff that you know you weren't supposed to be eating. And so that's pretty much what happened to me that day. And so after a series of questions, because Lisa was good with that, she would probe you, ask you all this, because she's trying to identify and evaluate, okay, what is her issue? And in turn, I learned how to do that with my clients. And so she turned to me, she said, you know what? You're an emotional eater. Do you know that? And at first I was in denial, like, nah, that's not me. What do you mean? No, that's not me. And so no one had ever called me out like that. She kept it all the way real, y'all. She then began to give me a few strategies about how to help with overcoming my emotional eating. This was crucial to my journey. If I truly wanted to lose weight, I had to be honest with myself. So in the comments, type honest with yours. I will be honest with myself. I will be honest with myself. Because if you're not honest with yourself, then you're not allowing yourself to be open for change. You're not allowing us to be open to get the support and the help that you need. So there were some key things that helped me to overcome. Now, I'm not saying that I'm perfect, because I've had some moments where I've had symptoms, but never, ever, ever had I had issues like I had before in the past. After consistently utilizing strategies that I kept me from slipping all the way back to where I was, I learned from those things. So type in the comments, I can learn from my mistakes. I can learn from my mistakes. So I learned from mine. And so here are the things, a few of the key things that have helped me to overcome emotional eating and to recognize and be aware. One, I had to identify with the fact that I was an emotional eater. I had to admit that I was. And so if you can't admit that you are, then you don't even know that you have a problem. If you can't admit that how can you expect to get the help that's needed if you can't even admit that, hey, look, I need help with that. That's me. So if that is you, just be honest. Be real with your own self. The second thing is, I had to, when a situation came up that was stressful, I had to remind myself, one, of my why, because I knew that my why was to get off meds. My why was to lose that weight successfully. And so I had to keep reminding myself of my why. And the second thing was something that Lisa taught me a long time ago. I had to tell myself, well, food ain't gonna fix it. If I eat this, my problem will still be there. So in the comments, type, food won't fix it. Food won't fix it. So even after you eat something that you know is not going to help you reach success and meet your goals, but you eat that stuff that you know is not going to help you with your blood pressure, your diabetes. So if you know that, why do it? And guess what? Even after you eat that stuff, to soothe or to suppress your issue, the issue is still sitting there saying, hey girl, I'm still here. How was that food? So keep that in mind. And if you're watching this, if you watched this from the beginning, if not, I suggest you go back and watch it all the way from the beginning, because if you're watching this and you're saying to yourself, that sounds like me, I am an emotional eater, I want you to be bold enough to type that and say, that's me, in the comments. That's me in the comments. Because like I shared in the beginning, I have wanted to talk about this for a while, but I was like, I wasn't ready if I want to be totally transparent, naked, and ashamed. But why not? I had some serious emotional eating problems. And most people probably didn't really know. Well, probably when I started picking up weight, probably, but but I had to be honest after a while, like, yo, this is a problem. And so in order for me to actually really see success, I had to learn how to identify my triggers and find strategies to keep me on track so I can successfully lose and be healthier. So if you know that's you, say, hey, that's me. That's me. And so once you say that, I want to say to you, congrats. You are an overcomer. You can overcome this and let the healing begin. And so if you say, hey, Tiffany, I love what you shared. I shared with you 2 major strategies that I've used, but I got a whole bunch of them that have helped me. I just pick which certain ones, depending on the day, whatever I need. Even like now, I have moments, especially when my father first passed away, it was major trigger. That's a traumatic experience. And I had to really, it was some days I struggled, because it's almost like someone who's an alcoholic and they're doing well and something happens and it causes them to have a relapse. I was really close to a really major relapse. But I thank God for the strategies that have been implemented over the years, and that things that I have, learned and have shared with others and coached others through. So I had to go back and pull out my own toolbox. And so if you say, hey, Tiffany, I need some more strategies, I need some other stuff to help me to overcome my emotional eating, because I know that this year I have to do better by my health, in terms of my health. This year, I know I can no longer play games with my health, because I've already been given a warning. For some of us, we've been given warnings. So my thing is, are you now ready? Do you feel like, okay, I'm ready now to truly make a change and get the help that I need? So if you need some more strategies, I want you to type in the comments, I need those strategies. I need those strategies. And I'll be sure to send them to you right in your inbox. So that's pretty much what I have today. Again, hi, my name is Tiffany, and I'm an emotional eater. But I thank God for all the things that He has allowed me to experience to make me stronger now than I ever been before. 1 John 4:4 says, greater is He that's in me than he that's in this world. I thank God for being that strong, that strength, that power within me to allow me to continue to be successful on my journey, share with others, and continue to grow. So I'm glad you tuned in. Continue to tune in every single day of January, because together, when we learn how to manage things like this, like emotional eating, we allow ourselves to live happy, healthy, and free. Thanks for tuning in. Please share this broadcast and be sure to tell others all about what's going on here on this broadcast each night. 31 Days of Power with Tiffany. I'll see y'all soon. Later.